I'm Mark with At Your Home Dog Training, and I was able to sit down with a couple of my clients and go over their training experience and where they're at with their dog Zona. So Sharon and John adopted Zona about 9 months ago, maybe a little bit more than that, and from Heart, which Heart is a very different type of rescue. They trap dogs in order to save them from the street, and it's absolutely incredible of what they do and how they do it. I can't say thank you enough to Heart for one, recommending me to these amazing people and this dog, and also thank you to Heart for actually going out and rescuing these dogs and giving them a chance at a really, really good home. A couple of things I want to get into about actually Zona. So when I first heard about Zona, I have quite a bit of information and a paragraph from Sharon just talking about what they've been through, what they've tried. They've tried another trainer. They tried a bunch of other things that they'll go over in the interview, and none of it was working. And after talking to her for a couple of minutes, I really put together of what was going wrong and what we needed to do, at least the direction we needed to go. Zona was a very insecure dog, and what we do as people a lot of time makes things worse, and we think we're trying to make it better. And when we try to make it better, we try to think like we're people because we are people, right? So when we get all that cuddly voice of, oh, it's okay, hey, those dogs don't understand that we're trying to comfort them. The dogs take that as an energy of we are scared. Dogs do not understand human. Dogs understand body language, energy, and body movement. So when you get in that tone of, hey, you're okay, you take away those words and you do just the sound, ah, that does not sound like someone who knows what they're doing and is saying, hey, you're safe. So that is a big thing that we change for Zona, and Sharon and John have absolutely done an amazing job with that. And overall, I would also like to just say thank you to Sharon and John for being willing and sitting down with me, doing this interview. They have caught on and have really embodied what I try to teach people. It wasn't without difficulty. It wasn't without struggle. And little Zona definitely takes and pulls at your heartstrings sometimes when you're trying to have her do something that she's scared, but she's pulled through. She has really thrived. And I can't wait for all of you to watch this. So if you have a heart rescue and they're having issues with some separation anxiety, please reach out, get in contact with me. One last thing, I'd like to apologize for the audio. I only had 2 lapel mics, and I wanted to make sure that you got what Sharon and John were trying to tell you, and not necessarily as important as the little questions and stuff that I had. Why? So, what made you get Zona? When did you decide to get Zona, and why did you go through Heart?
So we had a dog, Dachshund, that lived to be almost 15, passed away about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I needed a break. It was part of our family, and we just needed a break to where we can go away and do some traveling and just kind of enjoy ourselves. And finally, we got to the point where we're ready for another dog. We've always had dogs. We love dogs, and so we always have rescues. So uh, we decided to go to various rescues all throughout the Phoenix area, and we didn't find the right dog that we wanted. We travel a lot, so we needed a small dog for the airplane, and we also had certain types of dogs that we liked. We used to have a Schnauzer, we had a Dachshund, and we were looking in that family, if you will. And then we stumbled across Heart and found Zona, and she just stumbled her way into our heart. That's pretty much how it went.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you know what kind of what kind of rescue Heart was at that time or anything like that?
We actually didn't. We started looking at dachshund rescues because we wanted another dachshund, and then I went to small dog rescue, and I just thought that they were like any other. I had used Halo before, and I loved them. That's where we got our dogs, and Heart was just. I saw Zona, and she happened to be from Heart. So then when we found out what Heart actually does, we were like, "This is a good place.
Crazy, huh?
That's a good place." Yeah.
And then, so when you got Zona, how did things progress with her, as far as bonding with you guys and adjusting to your home?
She took to me sooner than John.
Okay.
And then we actually stayed home the whole weekend because we didn't want to leave her. We wanted her to adjust. So we didn't leave her for a minute. And she was bonding with me more. And Tina from Heart had called and she just said, just checking in, how's everything going? Said, everything's going great. We love her. She is a little bit more attached to me than to John. And she told us what to do. She said, have John feed her. Have, you could prepare the food, have John be the one to give her food, give her treats. And sure enough, within another day or so, she was equally devoted to both of us.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then when did the separation anxiety start coming in?
Pretty much immediately. And like I said, that we stayed home that whole weekend or 4 days or whatever it was. And I thought, okay, because we stayed home, maybe that was what caused it. We've been with her for 4 days nonstop round the clock, and now we're leaving her. Right. So it was almost immediate where we saw a little bit of destruction. We saw that she was a mess when we came home, and that was just leaving her for 15 minutes.
So was she destroying stuff and then like coming back where she had salivated everywhere, or?
Not really salivated. She had destroyed the blinds, so we knew that she got up there. It was recommended to us to try crating her because we would hear her also, and she was racing back and forth, and she would be so out of breath, and her heart would be racing, and she didn't calm down right away. So we tried crating her because Tina again suggested that she was okay in her crate when she was at Heart. Yeah. But I guess she wasn't alone there. There were people and there were dogs. She does great with other dogs. And she destroyed the whole bottom of the crate. She ate right through all of the plastic. Then we took the plastic out, and anything else we had put in there, blankets or whatever, she destroyed. So we didn't know what to do. Okay. So we then got in touch with doctors and tried medication, CBD, baby Benadryl, ended up with trazodone, nothing helped. Got trainers involved.
How many trainers did you go through before me?
One.
Just one?
Yeah. And it was just a lot. Some of the stuff was what you were saying, but it wasn't as thorough. And it wasn't really getting into her mindset like what you have taught us. Mm-hmm. And he also had said that this was going to be a 4-week process and we couldn't leave her until it was finished. And that was really not possible. We were back in New York at the time. We have 8 grandkids, so we had to babysit and stuff, and we had other obligations. So it was not working out for us. Yeah. Where with you, you've said you have to go about your life. You gave us all the tools and we worked it and still working it.
And so as opposed from where you were, I mean, you couldn't even leave her for a minute. Yeah. And now you've done as much as an hour and a half? An hour. Yeah. And then it kind of goes up and down as far as how successful and everything, but there's been at least 1 hour.
Yes.
Yeah. Instance.
Yeah. And we have the camera, so when we leave, we're able to watch her. Mm-hmm. And she goes to the door, and maybe she'll whine a little bit and ultimately settle down, which is all we want. Yeah. We just don't want her barking to where it annoys the neighbors, and we don't want her certainly destroying anything. We don't want her to be unhappy.
Right. And we don't want her to get hurt. Yeah. That was a big issue too. I was afraid that she was going to hurt herself by chewing on something or whatever.
And this had been going on for, what was it, 9 months?
Well, we got her in March, and we got back here with snowbirds, and we got back here at the end of December. So that whole time. Okay. Another thing that she was doing, it was like just getting ready to go out, putting on his shoes or getting my bag or the keys. She was already in panic mode. And that is completely gone.
Yeah.
She does not go into
Right.
panic mode for us getting ready to go out anymore.
Yeah. Great.
So that's a big difference too. Yes.
Hi, Zona.
Are we talking about you?
Now, we were talking a little earlier, a couple days ago, when we set this whole thing up, and you were talking about how it made sense now why I was focusing on things like come and go to your bed and everything like that. Can you talk a little bit about just your thoughts of when you were going through it, and then when you kind of had that realization of, okay, this is why he had me do this?
Yeah. So our biggest thing was the separation anxiety. That's what we wanted to conquer. And you were working with us to make her come to us and go to her bed. And then we got into this feeding thing that you do. And I couldn't understand that one at all. Why she had to be completely calm before she would get her food. And that's what it was that made it sink in, that because she took to that really quickly too. She used to get all excited and do her little dance when you'd go to feed her.
Yeah.
And then you had us have her calm down, whether she sits or lies there or stands, as long as she's completely calm. And when she finally takes her breath, or she lies down, or she looks away and is not all excited, then you give her the food. Mm-hmm. And you had compared it to the dogs out in the wild, and they're not going to get their prey. And again, that didn't really make sense, except that now when she's calm, when we're away, we come back and then she gets her reward. So it's the same type of thing as she needs to be calm in order to eat. Now she needs to be calm in order to get the reward of all the affection and even a treat when we come back. Yeah. So one thing just tied into another.
And then how much have you learned of that you were adding? Because you're definitely not the reason she does this, but how much did you learn of how much you were adding to the issue?
Well, we learned a lot. It was primarily our tone, our body language, and it was just instead of being more forceful, right. And at times also being more energetic and positive. Yeah. So that whole mindset changed us, and that's
and you still baby talk her, right? Okay. You still treat her like your little princess and everything, and you okay.
When the time is right.
Right.
But when she needs discipline, then I don't.
Right.
Perfect example. If I could go, okay.
You go,
yeah. So a perfect example is right before we got back. She's excellent in the car, and we had 5 hours left of traveling back, and she was in a complete panic. She was trying to get out of the car. She was panting. She was whining. And I climbed into the back seat, and I'm like, "Oh, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. Mommy's here. I love you." And what she heard, what you told, she heard is, yeah. And I was making her worse, yeah. And she reacted better, and when it was like, you are fine, you are okay, you're not hurt, yep. So having a more assertive voice, showing her who is boss, yep. It made the world a difference.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's showing her who's boss. She can trust you. Mm-hmm. You're going to handle all the hard stuff, yeah. And you're not going to allow anything to hurt her. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly right. And it's not with you said discipline. Can you elaborate on what that means? Instead, like, it's not hitting the dog or anything like that, but like, what would you say the discipline means to you guys?
What I think it means is, if I tell her to go to her bed, she needs to go to her bed and stay there until I tell her she could come. So it's really just her learning the commands and me not letting her get away with it. Yep. Sometimes she's just so cute that you want to give in to her, but if I say, go to your bed and stay, and then I go to another room and I'll call her. Yep. So that's what I refer to as discipline, that I didn't give in. Yeah. I didn't say... Yeah.
You held your boundaries, and yes. You made her do what you told her to do. Right. And it's not about getting mad. It's not getting... Right. It's not about... any of that. It's just, hey, I told you to do something and you need to do it, right. And following through with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She also, she was found roaming the streets in downtown Phoenix, and scared to death of cars, rightfully so. And predominantly when we walk her in local neighborhoods, she's perfectly fine. If we get to any fairly major or busy street, she just cowers like crazy. And we used to do the same thing. You'll be okay. You're fine. You're good. And now we have discipline. Maybe isn't the right word, but we're more forceful with her in terms of what to do. And she's gotten better with the walks.
Well, and you're showing her that you're confident and there's nothing to worry about.
Right.
As like we've talked about, of if you get, I always, for lack of a better term, weak energy and kind of tell her it's okay. You seem nervous and like that there should be something to be scared about. And if you're just like, really, you're being ridiculous, she doesn't feel that. Exactly. And I mean, you guys have said it great. You guys have done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And I've been I love when I get to see a dog and people get closer together. They get that trust better, and they come from, just being frustrated. I mean, I remember, and it's happened throughout this time, both of you just being so frustrated because you'll see improvement and then she just takes those steps back. And I've been super impressed just because even with those steps back, you two have gone, I'm doing what he said. It's blown me away with how little I've had to reassure you two. Like, there's been some reassurance there.
There has been.
But I would have imagined that there would have been way more reassurance.
No,
Well, it's not easy, especially when you take a step back, or you see that she's cowering and she's just not getting it, so to speak. But she ultimately got it. Every single command that you've taught us to do with her, she's gotten fairly quickly.
I mean, we're still going through issues with the separation anxiety, but we're not where we want to be. But we're working and going in the right direction. And even though there's still some setbacks, they're not really setbacks, they're step backwards. But then we move forward, and it does take work. It absolutely takes work.
How much time do you think now? What's the shortest amount of time that she's having an issue now? Does that make sense?
No, say it again.
Like, so we have the longest you've been able to go is an hour. When does she start to go through her separation anxiety? Like, are you, pretty much we're good up to every 15 minute? Or is it like, no, sometimes it's immediate and we come in and...
So it varies. It could be as soon as we walk out the door where she's whimpering. She's not barking anymore. She's not scratching at the door. She's not racing back and forth. We've got the camera so we could see. It's a whimper. So there are times where she's in her bed for 10 minutes before the whimper starts, and there are times it starts immediate. But it's acceptable behavior to me. It's like her just saying, "Where'd you go, Mommy and Daddy? When are you coming back?" It's not like complete panic mode. I'm not worried that she's going to get hurt or have a heart attack. And I survived.
You did.
That's the key thing.
She survived. I survived.
And a lot of it, so we can leave either through the front door or through the garage. And she knows the sound of that garage. There are times we're sitting here, I don't even hear it, and she knows Mommy's home because she could hear the garage go up. So we've tried both ways of leaving, and it's gotten to the point where she's probably equal either way. She knows we're leaving, and the fact is we come back, and I think we're almost there. I really do. I think we're going to try a longer time next week because we have to, because we're going out for a couple hours. And that'll be an acid test for us. And of course, we have the camera, so we're able to watch her. But we'll be too far away to use the collar.
And then what were your first thoughts, and then has your experience been with the remote collar?
Oh, I hated it. I was not a fan of it. I was just so afraid that it was going to hurt her. I know you said that it wouldn't, and you tested it out on us, and I knew what it felt like, but she's so little. I mean, I did not like it, and I did not trust myself that I was going to adjust it the right amount. So I was afraid to experiment with it. And that's where I felt like I needed the reassurance, and you constantly gave me the reassurance. You absolutely got me through using this comfortably. And now I am. I'm very comfortable using it. I don't think it's hurting her. I know it's not hurting her. You know, I could tell by her reaction. She's not hurt at all.
Yeah.
It's just a distraction so that she does not continue the negative behavior.
Yep.
Yeah, but I was not a fan.
Yeah.
And I remember you even asked me, you're like, "Are you okay?" I was
Yeah.
like, "No, I'm not okay with this," but I got okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, I think there was 2 times that I vividly remember of going, oh, I just made another client cry. Like every once in a while, just because there's so much emotion and you love your dog so much, you know, and Zona has been through so much in her life that it's like I mean, one, we don't want to hurt dogs anyways, but also you definitely don't want to make their life any worse,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And I could just see all that going through your mind all at once and all these feelings, and I'm just going, just trust me, please. I will give you the happiest dog in the world, and it's difficult, but that's some of the emotions I've been very surprised and impressed that you've gone through.
Well, we really did trust you.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was your personality. First, it was the recommendation that you came with, but just you made us feel more at ease. You made us feel more comfortable, and you made us feel like we're doing the right thing to make her a happier puppy.
We also didn't
something we can
realize
work
that there's different types of rescue dogs, and most of the dogs that Heart gathers,
All of them.
yeah, they're a different breed because they didn't just get returned because someone is older and has to go to assisted living or that type of thing, or you know the kids have allergies. They were trapped. They were caught and trapped because they were roaming the streets free, and they have a whole different anxiety level.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah, and being roaming the streets. It's not necessarily that you don't know what's happened to them. It's you don't know what they've been doing that they think that's what's keeping them alive. Mm-hmm. So her fear with cars, which is a good thing, keeps her away from cars and does keep her alive, but she probably has a little bit more of fear of cars than is necessary.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But she believes that kept her alive the whole time.
Yeah. For sure.
And so we're dealing with that of a whole nother thing that she's been doing for how many months or years, you know, of I'm staying alive by being terrified of this car and it didn't kill me yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't know how long she was out there, but we don't know anything, no history with her. There was no collar, there was no chip, there was nothing. But by the same token, she's very lovable, and she does do some basic commands even when we first got her. So clearly she was in a household and she had some training.
Yeah.
But she also wasn't really taken care of, that she wasn't chipped, she wasn't spayed, her nails had never been clipped, her hair was matted. So whether it was because she was out there for so long or there was some neglect there, we saw some signs that we thought were possible abuse. She was terrified of stairs, and we got her to overcome that. And
Did it help at all for me to tell you to stop feeling sorry for her, that she's in the best house ever? Did that actually help? I don't even know if you remember that, but I just said, like, with and I say this with all rescue dogs, stop worrying about what they may or may not have gone through.
Yeah.
They are the luckiest dog in the world to be where they're at, and you should just more go off of, you are a lucky dog to be with us.
Yeah.
Did that help at all? And if it didn't, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It also helps me learn what to say to clients to help.
Well, I do remember you saying
I
that,
remember that too.
and I know that we tend to be, what happened to her? What did she go through, the poor thing? And we still think about that. You can't.
Yeah. No, you can't work human.
Yeah.
But by the same token, we do remind ourselves that she's got it pretty good. I mean, life is good, for her right now.
Yeah.
So.
Good deal. Well, thank you too for doing this. This means the world to me.
Thank you for all your help.
I'm sure that this is gonna help other people not only come to me but help their dogs not have the separation anxiety and everything. And I'm excited to see how much better she gets.
Yes, me too.
I hope to get constant updates, and then of course, because I want to make sure you guys are good, always feel free to reach out. And hey, even if I need to come out and do another thing or whatever, we're actually going to do a little bit of her, helping her with her cowering before I leave here off camera. But You guys have done a great job.
Thank you.
I've been.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you know I will keep
Oh,
in touch because I have been.
Yeah, I love getting those. And again, I would just like to thank Sharon, John, and Zona for sitting down with me and telling me their experience and how things have gone and are going. Especially with separation anxiety, doesn't always end quickly, but it gets a lot better where they've been dealing with it for over 9 months and they've seen significant improvement in just 5 weeks. Also, I would really like to again thank Heart for doing what they do and having the faith in me that they would recommend some of these anxiety issues and other trouble issues to me that they believe I can fix them. Thank you.